and coming out in support of your beautiful Trinity Freshmen. Very exciting meeting tonight as we talk about the future, and we'll get it all going. But first of all, I just want to introduce myself. I am Mrs. Barb DeTore. It is my big honor and pleasure to be the director of the pre-professional internship program, now in the 16th year. So we've been doing this a long time. Always new, because there's always these new beautiful faces to welcome to our program. So it always feels like it's the first year every year. I've been part of Trinity's family for 30 years, so that's pretty amazing. I'm really 25, but I stepped away when my little girl came home. And she is now married, so that's how long I've been part of this family. So I love it here, and I know, and hopefully all of you do, now that you're part of our Trinity family as freshmen and their parents. But let's go ahead and get started the way we try to start everything here at Trinity, and that's with prayer. So if you please stand, and we will have a prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we ask your blessings on this beautiful group here in the gym on a wintry night. We know that we are looking at the class of 2028, and what a gift they are, that they have come to join our family, to share their gifts, to be the unique people they are that makes our school richer. And we thank you for each and every one of these ninth graders and the ones who couldn't join us tonight as well. We especially, Lord, thank you for their families, their parents, their support system, everybody who's here with them. And we know that it takes a village, and that really that family is what led those beautiful people to our school. So please protect them as well. We ask your blessings on everybody in the room, on the entire class of 2028, on my colleagues who have taken their time to be here as well. That we'll meet as we go. And we thank you so much for all of these people. Keep us safe back home tonight, and help us to have a good meeting, and then help us, Lord, to be your hands, our freshmen, when they start to learn about professions and then get to step out into those professions through Trinity's innovative pre-professional internship program. We ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus. And Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you so much. All right, so hopefully everybody got a folder as you got in, and it has your child's name on it or your name on it. And we're going to kind of go through it a little bit at a time. I am going to be doing the first commercial, and then we have another person in the room who will do a couple other commercials as we go. But the first one is that first page. And if you'll look at that, we happen to have the best graphic design department of anywhere, and they put this together for us. But this one piece, back and two-sided, tells you all about our pre-professional internship program. And I wanted to have it in your folders for two reasons. One is that my information is right on the back where it says take the next step. So if you're like me and you listen tonight and you hear all the speakers and you think you've got it all figured out, and the next day you go, oh shoot, I wanted to ask her this. Well, my number is here, my phone number, and my email, and I'm always happy to talk to anybody. So please give me a call if you have any questions. That's just one of the reasons I want you to have this. This year, we have 160 students who are pre-professional interns in the field. By the time these guys step into being interns, we're going to have many more, because our senior class will be graduating and a bigger junior class will take the place. So we usually have to place up to 200 people at once, and we place them in companies. And so one of my biggest jobs that doesn't stop is to market the program. Where do I get people to send your beautiful students to? So I want you to have this piece, because all of my parent friends here and family members, you have employers, you have neighbors, you have family who might say, oh, our job is so hard right now, we could use an extra set of hands to do all that scanning, or to unpack the boxes when our company moves, or we need more people in our IT area where we're really short on that. Our program can help you. So I wanted you to have this piece so you can say, hey, I know about a program that can really help, and give them this piece of paper, or really help me out by emailing or calling me and saying, here's a person you can call. And that's the best way, word of mouth, because I don't do cold calling, you really don't get anywhere. But if you were to say, hey, I know my boss was talking about needing young talent, and then I would say, Mr. Applegate gave me your name, and he has a student that goes to Trinity, I direct the program. Now we've got a connection. So that's what I always need to make our program go. So hang on to this and pass it along to somebody, maybe your own company or somebody you know. So that's my commercial number one. But first I want to talk about the big piece of paper next thing. This piece of paper that has your student's name on it is what we need. And this is what the meeting is really about. Tonight we're going to talk about 4 different opportunities we have here as part of our program. So now in your 9th grade year, this week, we need you to make a big decision. Are you going to be part of the medical program? And you're going to hear from Mrs. Stankiewicz and even an intern, Maya, who goes to the hospital once a week and acts as a Trinity intern. Or are you going to be part of our graphic design program? You're going to hear from Mr. Vincent and our intern, Lauren. So is that what you're going to choose? Or are you going to be in our information technology program? And you're going to hear from Mr. Urban, and I'm afraid my intern in IT did not come, so I will talk about that part. And then the funny thing is that the last one, I always move, okay? So this was medical here, this is graphic design, this is IT, and then over here, this one, College and Career Readiness, is everything else. So these are people we say A to Z. Accountants to zoologists. Do you want to be a policeman? Do you want to be a conservationist? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be an attorney? Do you want to be a veterinarian? We'll talk, that one's a little, could be here or it could be back at the beginning in medical. Anyway, so the people in college and career, they are not one of these 3. And it might be that they are unsure of what they want and they know that's not it. Or they might have a specific goal. I want to be a lawyer. Then you're going to be here because that's different than those, all right? And the reason we're doing this now, when I'm not going to really work with you guys as real interns until you're juniors, the reason we're doing this tonight is that we need to make this decision now because as you're going to hear about, in the 10th grade year, you're going to have the first specialized course. So if you're going to be in this medical program over here, we need you in the 10th grade year to take Medical Technology 1 so that you're ready and you're getting those skills that Ms. Stankiewicz is going to talk to us about. Okay, if you're going to be in graphic design, you need the first graphic design course in your 10th grade year. So as a junior, I can say to a place like Steel Valley Credit Union, where Lauren goes now, I've got somebody that's trained in graphic design. She's already had that course behind her. She could come to you now. If you're in IT, we got to get you started on all that good stuff. It's a language I don't speak, but you need to speak it, and Mr. Urban's going to help you next year in your IT class. So tonight is really about kind of the academics that go along with those 3 programs. This other guy over here, the College and Career, you don't have a specific program because you might be the only person in the school who wants to be an American Sign Language interpreter, you know? So we don't have a course in that, but we have electives that you're going to take in place of that. Maybe the communication, because you're going to be doing it in a different way. You might want to take journalism, you know, things like that to get you where you're going. All right, so that's kind of what we're doing. So this piece of paper is the thing I need from you. And we have 2 times you can turn it in. One is right now. There's a box under the table. You can just put it. I know exactly what I want. You sign it. Your parent who's with you signs it. It goes in the box. You're done. Maybe you need to go home and think about it. That's fine, but we would love this back this week. So all my freshman friends, you know how Mr. Svoboda or somebody, Mr. Miller or Ms. Sorzak walks around to all the classes in the morning, and he says, anybody have paperwork? You can hand them this form. Or, you know where the Title I room is? Our office is right across from that. You can actually come hand it to me. But we need it by the end of the week because our busy friends in the counseling department and the academic program, they have to get your schedules made for 10th grade and they need to know what your choice is. So that's our job tonight. Okay? One more thing in the folder, I'm going to let other people talk. And that is this big guy. You have a pretty staple piece, blue and white. Each page is a different one of our programs, and it gives you the map of what classes you would take if you were in that program. So this could help you with that decision. If you're in our healthcare pathways program, then you're going to need to, which I call it the medical program. We're giving it a new name now, healthcare pathways. I've got to get used to that. And so if you choose that tonight, you'll see your classes all the way through senior year on this blue and white page. Flip it over and you'll see the graphic design program, and you'll see IT, and you'll see college and career too. So it shows you what that pathway or what that strand would look like. All right? So the way it's going to work, I'm going to call up some people to talk, and we're going to go through the programs one at a time so you can make an informed decision. We're not really talking about the nuts and bolts of internship yet. We're going to be in this room again, and it's going to go quick. The year before, like say about, I think it's August of your junior year, and then we'll be talking about what do you do if you're absent, should you take your lunch, where do you go to check, and all that good stuff. So we don't have to worry about that right now. Right now we're talking about how to give you information to make that big choice. Anybody have questions so far about what the meeting how it's going to work? I am so glad you're all here. You look beautiful, and I thank you so much for being here and for choosing Trinity. Let's go ahead and get started with our first program, and I'm going to go ahead and pick on Mrs. Stankiewicz to start us out in our Health Care Pathways program. And Maya, come on up too so you're ready here. Maya and Mrs. Stankiewicz have never done this before. I want you to meet Mrs. Sarah Stankiewicz. We're so excited to have her. She'll tell you a little bit about her background. This is her first year at Trinity, and boy, did she take the program and just take us to a new level. So we're very excited to have her. And Maya is a real live intern. You got to picture her in green scrubs. That's how she looks every Thursday or Friday? Thursday? Friday. Every Friday she comes and sees me in her green scrubs. We check her out. She gets on a van and off she goes to Marymount Hospital to do direct patient care. So she's going to talk about what that's like too. Thank you both.
Gonna just jump right in, right? So I'm Sarah Stankiewicz. I am a registered nurse. So I've been working, I worked for the Cleveland Clinic for, over 10 years. I worked in labor and delivery. I worked in orthopedic surgery. I have 3 kids and kind of decided it was time to make a change, and they needed a teacher and wanted to change up the program. So I came here. It's probably been one of the most exciting and scary and just awesome experiences I've done. Bedside nursing, to go from that to teaching, has been a big change, but I've taken everything I do with my own children and put it into your kids. So it's been a really nice change. The benefit of me being a nurse for this program is everything that I have learned over my years of nursing, I've put into this program. So anybody that is interested into going into healthcare is getting my own experience that I had throughout the years. I tell all of the kids, see one, do one, teach one. I stand by that. I want them to learn hands-on. Even our younger kids, I started last year and just pounded the pavement to get donations, and we built a hospital room in my classroom so that instead of going only 6 times throughout their time, they're getting hands-on skills once a week. So they're learning hand washing and vital signs and EKGs and drawing blood and AccuChecks and bedside manner, and I mean anything that you could think of within the healthcare. We're really trying to give them a solid step out into that field. So one thing slightly different, instead of starting their sophomore year, the kids actually will have the opportunity to start their freshman year in a course that we wrote called Foundations of Health Professions. So what that does as freshmen is gives them a little bit of insight into the healthcare field. So not just being a doctor or a nurse or an aide, but all the other opportunities that come along with going into healthcare. I mean, people that help sterilize the equipment and your nurses' aides and your pharmacology. Just there's so many things that you can do that people don't think about. So Foundations is just to kind of get your feet a little bit. If you love it, great. If you hate it, you're not tied into the healthcare field. This is a good time for you to kind of figure that out. They're still young, they don't know what they want to do. If you love it, and you kind of understand what is to be expected of you, because it's a little bit of a rigorous program, right? Like we're setting them up with things we want them to take into the job field. So they have to be dedicated. They're going to get that freshman year. Then you would move on to your medical science and technology 1 course that they would take their sophomore year. So 9th grade, hand washing, basic infection, all of those things. 10th grade, now we dive a little bit deeper into vital signs, manual blood pressures, admission, discharge, like just a little more in depth into the different body systems. Same thing moving forward into your junior year. We dive even deeper into anatomy and physiology, add in some cardiac, blood draws, EKGs, things like that. And then their senior year now becomes a medical science and technology certification preparation program. So ideally these kids are going to finish out their senior year, and if they would like to, they can test to become a patient care technician certified. It gives you kind of a one-up on other people that may be going into the field looking to take one of these jobs. It shows that you're a master in your field, you know your craft, you have been certified and know exactly what you're talking about. So that's kind of where we've gone with the program. It's a lot, it's a little bit scary, but to be able to give these kids this opportunity to, if they don't want to necessarily go right into college, but they would like to go into a job, they have this ability now. It's not something I did. I did not become a nurse right away. I, went to school, it wasn't for me, and then I did that when I was 25. So it's really important to me and all of us that we give these kids this opportunity to be successful adults when they graduate high school and have somewhere to go. So if healthcare is what they think they like, then this would be the path for you.
Awesome.
I'm gonna hand it over and she can share some of her experience. Is that right? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm a junior here at Trinity High School, and I go to Marymount Hospital for my medical internship. For me, that looks like being a CNA. I work as a CNA alongside a nurse to do the duties of a CNA. They take it very seriously. It is just like a real job. They expect you to do everything that you're taught and learn. You really have to take it serious. It's a wonderful experience. It definitely teaches me a lot of things and definitely helps me decide if this is really what I want to do. Like Ms. Inglewood said, it is very vigorous. They do really expect you to do everything we're taught. Some of my duties look like wiping patients, changing them, helping them take baths, assisting them to the toilet, getting them things such as like water and crackers if they ask. You sometimes have to take their food orders for them and call down to dietary. Yeah. Vital signs.
Maya, can you tell us what the best thing about being a medical intern?
The best thing for me is the experience. I honestly think working at the hospital is so cool. It's definitely better than being at school. I like going to the hospital. It's fun. The staff is really nice, and yeah.
A great speaker. That's the first time I ever called on her to be a speaker, to do that in a room this big. That's awesome. I admire my medical interns. I am behind the desk for a reason. I wouldn't be able to handle the things they do, and I would get upset when somebody's very sick. But they are so strong, and they come back tired, and they come back happy. They really love to do that, and I thank Ms. Stankiewicz for the opportunity of working with you as we watch you prepare the next one. So it really is a special thing. Real quick, my dad was at Marymount, and I went to visit him on my lunch hour this years ago, and one of our interns was taking care of him, and he was doing just what Maya talked about, helping him with his, needed to be cleaned up, doing all of that, and everything was, "Are you okay, Mr. Richardson? I'm about to do this, Mr. Richardson." He was so polite, so professional, and I was so impressed, and I got to tell my dad, he's one of our interns. I was so proud. And then the next day I saw him in our hallways, and there he was laughing with the kids, fooling around, being a Trinity High School student and having a great time as a student. And it was just a really neat way for me to see that when you see them out there, they have already stepped into these adult roles, And yet when they come back home, they can be themselves too, and it's just so fun to see that. So thank you, Maya and Mrs. Stigwitz, for sharing that. Oh my gosh, I think it's commercial time. Mrs. Newroads, I would like you to meet my partner in crime. We could not do the program without her. This is Mrs. Jen Newroads. She is our Director of Transportation. Only one hat she wears. She wears a lot of hats. But in my world, I just could not imagine doing this. She does the magic of where every van is going at a particular day to get these students there and back safely, training the drivers, and then so much more like being here at the meet. But she has one commercial for us now.
I guess I only get one now. So, one of the papers that you have in your folder is for the Out of the Blue benefit coming up on May 2nd, I believe it is, yes, Friday, May 2nd. So if you take a look at that, you want to mark your calendars now, we would love to see you in attendance that night. It's a great time, and it's a great way to raise money for the school. We are looking for donations for our baskets. So if you have anything at home that you got for Christmas that's new and you really don't think you're going to use it, we will take it. We also have an Amazon wish list you can purchase from. We do a raffle, so if you do give a donation, you will be entered into the raffle to win a prize. I think it's still a $100 Amazon gift card or something like that. The other thing we need is volunteers for the night. So my number is on the bottom if you would like to volunteer and help us out at the benefit. We would love to have you there. You can give me a call or email. Any questions about donations, you can call Mrs. Meadows, and her information is on there as well. So we hope to see you all there.
All right, so we've learned about the medical road. That was this one, the healthcare pathways strand. And now we're going to talk about the second one, which is graphic design. So if I could have Mr. Vincent and our intern Lauren come on up and tell us about this part of our internship opportunity.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Mr. Vincent. I'm the graphic design internship coordinator, in case you did not get that. This is my 5th year teaching this program, so I'm playing around with it a little bit, and I've kind of taken the classes and I've made them more kind of like my college experience, those different classes, that kind of high-level thinking, creative process sort of stuff. So that's kind of, my background and experience. So, graphic design classes, they're a great way to learn both light and trade skills. Classes are project-based, and we learn industry-standard software such as Adobe InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, and Premiere Pro. Students also learn how to use photography and film and video. Students who choose this graphic design internship strand will take 3 different required classes. They're sophomore, juniors, and seniors. The sophomore year class is called Elements and Principles of Design, and in this class, students learn the basics of design and the Adobe software. They practice how to communicate visually through layout, typography, and illustration. Some sophomore year projects are business cards, logos, and movie posters. The junior year class is called Advertising and Promotional Design. And in this class, students have had that intro to design, and now they're applying it to real-life, real-world scenarios. Some of the junior projects are like social media ads, making event posters, doing packaging, and even doing video advertising. The senior year class is called Graphic Design Capstone, and seniors use everything they've learned over their 3 years to make their own company from scratch. And they develop this over the course of their entire senior class. They make different materials like ads, promotional videos, they'll make menus, flyers, posters, etc. And they're displayed in a professional exhibition at the end of the semester that everybody can come and visit. The students in that class do have access to Trinity Support Services to print their designs large scale. Some of the senior capstone companies are like bakeries, restaurants, we did a jewelry store, clothing brands, just to name a few. If students are interested in learning some of the design, software and whatnot, but don't want to be on the graphic design track, we do have some electives that they can take. The first elective is called Intro to Graphic Design, and this one's actually taught by Mr. Murata. He's our in-house graphic designer. This class is just like that first sophomore level class on the internship track, where students are learning the basics of design as well as the Adobe software. The next elective is called Yearbook and Film, and in this class we actually create and design the entire yearbook using the Adobe software as well as Jocelyn software. They also produce, film, and edit the senior farewell video, which is a really fun video we watch at the end of our year. So freshman and see that this year. The last elective class we have is called Web Publishing, and in this, students learn the basics of web design, such as front-end design, HTML, UI, UX, and app design. Some of those projects are like website redesigns, doing a video advertisement, as well as making an app prototype. So those are the design internship classes, as well as some elective options that we have here at Trinity. And I have Lauren, she's one of my seniors, just did her capstone class. She's going to talk about her internship. Sorry.
My name is Lauren. I'm a senior at Trinity High School. And the two internships I've had the opportunity to work at is Swagelock and Steel Valley Federal Credit Union. For both of these companies, I basically just were in the marketing department. So I made ads for them. I made videos. Like last year, I made a video for this one company that they put on their own personal website. I made a billboard that they put around their company because they have televisions everywhere, so all the employees got to look at it and see what I created. I also got to sub in for someone who was in college. That's not right. So basically, that's basically what that was. I just created ads for Swagelock throughout the whole entire year. I do a similar, pretty much the same thing here at the credit union. We're making a commercial because they don't have a commercial currently, so I'm taking inspiration from different credit unions, seeing what I can put together so that they can have their own personal commercial that they can release. I'm also making them improve their website because it's not very appealing to the eye. So I'm also just taking inspiration from other companies, and I'm giving my supervisor, his name is John, I'm giving him personal insight and tips and tricks on how to improve his website just to make it more appealing so people can come to it and be more at their credit union. I like my internship. I didn't know what I wanted to do before I started it, but once I went to Swagelock, I realized that I wanted to do marketing because I enjoy making ads for different companies and I enjoy bringing people together from those different ads. And I think when I entered the credit union, that was also just a step up because I got to work with my supervisor. He got to take me to bigger levels so that I could work with actual people. I get to bring other people from outside into their company. I got to improve on them, and I just think it's a great opportunity to have.
Wonderful job, both of you. Thank you. You might have seen Lauren before. Does anybody recognize her? Look at your packet again. Look at the sheet that I held up, the marketing sheet. That's our Lauren last year at Swagelock in that picture on there. So it's kind of fun that she was speaking tonight. And what a neat opportunity in the way that she has run with it. And can you imagine being a college recruiter in a graphic design department and Lauren comes in and brings a portfolio with her, including billboard design, website, all the things she talked about. And you're like, wait a minute. You haven't had college yet. You're just 18 out of high school. How do you have a professional portfolio? And how many other people applying for those graphic design college positions from all these other high schools have anything like that to show them? Not really many of them, right? Because most high school students aren't going out one day a week to a professional setting like Lauren does and like Maya does, and we're going to be to talk about another department too. So thank you so much. Let's take a little break here. We're halfway through. We've had 2 programs so far. What questions do you have, either about medical or graphic design? Anybody? We must have some good explainers. All right, good. Then we'll move ahead, and let's go ahead and bring our IT up. And this time, even though I don't speak IT, I can talk about IT experiences in the internship program when Mr. Urban's done talking about the academic part of the program. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Urban. We're so happy to have him with second year. Second year at Trinity also has taken the IT department by storm, brought us to a new level, and he's going to talk about the academic part of being in our information technology pathway.
Hi, I hope everybody's staying warm out there. My name is Michael Urban. I am the IT director here as well as the IT teacher. Some of the students know me from working with me with their Chromebooks, and if I haven't seen you yet, I will definitely see you before you graduate. I want to welcome everybody tonight. Just go over briefly the program. The first class we like to teach students in the sophomore year is A+. And what that does is it teaches students how to break down, take apart computers, and put them back together again after they fix them. Another benefit of that is for those of you who are into PC gaming, you get a better understanding of how your computer works as well as what to do if something happens with it. After that, we move on to a slightly higher level course because these all build on each other. We go to Network Plus. That helps students understand how a network functions and how everything talks to each other. That also gives students the understanding to get computers and servers and switches and routers and everything talking to each other so that people can access the internet, go to video gaming sites. I personally like video games, so that's kind of one of my topics. And basically how things interact with each other and how to make them a little more secure and faster. Soon we'll be bringing in another course called Security Plus. What that's going to do is it's going to help students understand the security aspects of a network and computers and how to make a workplace safer. So those who are trying to get in and are allowed to can get in, but those who don't and are allowed to cannot get in. It involves a little bit of what they call white hat hacking. That's what good guys do when they test networks to see how they function and if there are any loopholes or ways for the bad guys that might try to get in. That's pretty much the program there. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Well, I myself, I do have some interns before Miss Barb talks about the outside stuff. What they learn when they're interns with me is how our network functions, how to help students, and build kind of a personal relationship with people. Being in IT for probably close to 15 years, I myself have had to work at that, and I know it's tough for some people to develop those one-on-one skills so that when you're working with people, they don't feel like you're like any of the Saturday Night Live skits, like you're talking down to someone, so that they know that you're trying to help them and that you can help them understand what's going on and understand better how to fix things in the future. The students that work with me now also learn about how to take apart the Chromebooks and put them back together when the screens are broken, when the Wi-Fi card breaks, a whole number of things. We work on all kinds of computers around here, some servers and switches and stuff like that as well. So even in my internship, they will definitely be learning stuff. All right. Any questions about that? All right, then I'll turn it back over to Ms. Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. Urban. So in the IT world, yes, often they start out working with Mr. Urban. Then we also have places like SwageLock, who will take a team of IT people. They do help desk. We have a young man now, actually at Marymount Hospital, who is in there. Oh gosh, the words of it are going to leave me right now, but he actually works on medical equipment. So like my mom right now happens to be at Marymount, hooked up to a heart machine. Please say a prayer, she had a stroke and we're hoping that she gets a rehab soon. But anyway, that equipment that is showing them what her heart is doing is in this room where our Noah works. And he actually works on that equipment. So how important is that job? So that's a place. Summer, who was going to speak to you tonight, and we have another intern as well, is over at the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, which they're like, why am I working at a sewer district? And it was interesting with Lauren talking about working at a credit union. Our interns find out that all of these companies are like a world unto themselves, right? They need IT, they need marketing, they need all kinds of things at something that you think is just a medical world. So some of our interns are in places like that. So when you work at SwageLock and you call the help desk and you say, I need help with my desktop right now, you might be talking to a Trinity intern and not even know it. They also will set up workstations for people, they'll clear computers, all that kind of thing. And Mr. Irvin does teach that magic, which to me gets a little irritating, to be honest, because when I call up to him and say I'm having trouble with my computer in my office and he sends an intern down, they do that thing where they stand next to you and suddenly it works, and before you call it didn't work, and you're like, how does that happen? And they're like, Mrs. Troy, it might be that little plug that came out, you know, stuff like that, but they are so good, so we do appreciate them. So that's the most I can talk to about IT, because like I say, I don't speak that language, and it's so fun to me to see all three of those areas watching our students get more specialized than I am, and come back and tell me stories that they have to then take the time to explain what they're talking about, because it's over my head, because they're getting to be in those specialized places, and it's just wonderful to watch them. All right, so we've had the three specialties. If you think that your student, or if you, my freshman friends, think I want to be maybe in the medical program, that healthcare pathways program, or I want to do graphic design, or I want to do IT, this is the time to choose those programs because they progress. You saw the blue and white math. Each one starts with a 10th grade class. Next year, like Mrs. Stankiewicz said, our freshmen will start even sooner in that program. But all those programs start with a specialized course in the 10th grade year, and that's why you're here tonight. This program, College and Career, doesn't have a specialized course for next year. If you choose this one, you're going to have one more elective than your friends who have chosen these three, because they're going to be taking those classes, which is their choice, their elective. Yours is going to be, who knows, art, home music, theater, journalism, whatever you would like will be your electives, and you're going to kind of make your own program, if that makes sense. So the one thing, and Mrs. Wazinski, when she comes up, will help us understand, is that right now, tonight, if you have any inkling that you want one of these three, you should jump on it, because this is your only chance to get started in that program. If you make a change and you want to go back to those, you'll have missed a course. So this is the time, all right? So let's go ahead, and I think we're going to go have Mrs. Wazinski come on up. I'd love for you to meet, if you haven't already. We call her the Heart of Trinity. Mrs. Francine Wazinski is our assistant principal, head of guidance, and the person you go to when you need help, right, everybody? So here she's going to tell us a little bit of an overview. And John is our intern, and there are so many areas. I chose him to speak tonight, not only because I know he's a great speaker, because I do, but he's had two different worlds, and both of them would be in this program. So that's why I brought him up. Okay?
Hi everyone, so good to see you. Actually, Mrs. DeTore did a great job of explaining the college and career aspect of the program. So I think one of the things that I kind of want to help you to understand is to be aware that with the internship programs, there's kind of like a distinction between the internship that you go out on, that she takes you on, and the academic portion of it, okay? So I deal more with the academic portion of it, okay? I deal with like your schedules and the classes and all of the things that you need here in the building. Mrs. DeTore gets to do all the magic and do all the wonderful stuff. So there is a distinction, and I think sometimes that gets a little confusing when we're talking about it, when we're talking about, you know, okay, well, you're gonna be in this particular area, and, you know, these are the classes that you would need. It gets a little confusing, so please don't hesitate if you ever question to just come and ask us, okay, and to make the clarification between the two. I'm just trying to think, I mean, really, with the academic portion, one of the things that we look at, I mean, what she's talking about is just because we have the classes and it builds on one another, the importance of being in the program from the beginning is very, very important. I mean, have we had some students that have transferred in, you know, to Trinity and said, oh my gosh, I really want to be, you know, in the medical portion of the program, and we try to make it work for them. But it's really important that you take a look at what it is that you want to do, and, you know, and kind of focus in those areas, and then focus your area, electives around this. And that's the college and career portion is so nice because you have all of the different electives like what Mrs. DeJoy talked about that you can utilize and go into. And then she works her magic and tries to, if you are interested in being like as a lawyer, then she tries to work her magic in the actual field that you go out into and do your internship. That's where the focus, may be. We then try and look at here as far as, okay, well, what might be the best elective classes for you to take that would help to support you in those, in those areas. Does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna now give it to the man who can tell you the real goods about it.
So I'm John Hill. I am a senior at Trinity, and I kind of say that I'm like the oddball child for internship just because I'm in graphic design. I'm in the graphic design course, but my internships are not in graphic design at all. And I've taken A plus PC Tech 1 as a junior, and I've been all over the place. But for junior year, I internship at Turfscape, which is a landscaping company, and I internship with the guy who goes ahead and maps out the routes for all the projects and stuff. I've worked with the actual graphic design person who goes ahead and makes the little maps and where all the flowers or trees or gravel or mulch is going to go. But none of that worked for me, as we saw, because one day me and Fred, which is Fred Tufts, which is the person who mainly handles the internship for Turfscape. He does the route planning and stuff. And one day, every single day, I was not interested in it. I almost fell asleep once. It wasn't really good for me. But then he's like, so I'm a car guy, and so I work good with my hands. And the guy's like, and Fred's like, hey, the mechanics are looking for someone to help them. Are you willing? I'm like, yes. And 9 times out of 10, throughout the whole year, I was working with mechanics. Like I said, I was good with my hands, so that wasn't a graphic design portion of it, but it was mainly of my internship. And then this year, I am working at Diamond Signs and Graphics. Mainly, I usually work on vehicles, car wrapping and stuff, cleaning up the shop, making it look neater for when clients come over or future clients come over and they go and see how stuff is and stuff. And plus, it's just better to work in a neater environment. And they really like that I helped them with that, because it was not good. But I've helped that, and this Tuesday, I helped them wipe down a truck to go ahead and get wrapped. And I went ahead and I started assorting all the screws and nuts and bolts and studs for the drywall, for the plaques and stuff. You go ahead and put a stud in and you put it in the wall. But they were everywhere, so I went ahead and put that together. And yeah, it's college and career isn't like I said, I'm in the graphic design course, but I'm not in the graphic design internships.
Okay, so John got up a couple of good points that I like. I don't like the part that he might have fallen asleep, but I hope that didn't happen. But he was able to tell the supervisor that desk work wasn't really his thing, and he got into the mechanic world. And now he's using his hands again in car and truck wrapping, so pretty cool. All right, so you have heard all four. I do have one more commercial though, I think, from Mrs. Newrums. She'd be upset if I didn't let her give her this one, because we need this part too. Sorry.
Okay, as Mrs. Dettori told you before, I'm the Director of Transportation here. So, many of you take transportation to and from school. We also take all the kids to their internships and bring them back to school. So, I am always in need of drivers. If you know anyone that is interested in a driving position, or if you yourself are interested, I have some business cards in the back. We're pretty set for this year, but I'm starting to look for next year's drivers. So if you would be interested in something like that, I would love to hear from you. You do not need a CDL. We do drive minivans, so it's pretty easy. You don't have to drive a big bus or anything like that. But if it's something you might be interested in, please contact me, and I would love to talk to you more about it. Thank you.
Our drivers keep us going literally. Without them, we couldn't do the program. And so they take people from their homes or from their sites nearby their homes to school. Then they take them to internship. Then they do whatever they want. Then about 1 o'clock or so, they come back and start driving again for the afternoon. So if you have a schedule where that might work for you, let Jen know. All right, we have talked about all four of the different choices. Any questions now that you would like us to address for any of the areas? Good. All right, we're ready to let you have your homework. Some of you might be done already. If you have filled out the form and both signed it, there's a box at the table for it. If you'd like to take it home and look at it and make that decision, please bring it back this week so we can get your schedule in place. We still have our graphic design expert in the room, our medical person, our college and career, our IT, the students too. I'm here. If you have a question that you didn't want to ask in front of everybody, here we are. Come ask us. Otherwise, if you want to turn the form in, that's great. Please have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being here tonight.